if you've ever felt like Performance Max was a black box of secrets where you hoped there was conversions and new sales inside, but sometimes it was just wasted ad spend. You're in luck, because the good news is that Google has finally released some reporting updates, which is going to become available inside of the Google Ads dashboard. So you can now get some extra data about your Performance Max campaigns without having to run external scripts or run any other APIs to find this data. Now, should Google Ads have released this data earlier? Yes. Do I know why they haven't? I've got my theories, but we don't want to go down that path because it's a very dark path. Because what I want to do right now is I want to focus on this being a positive announcement, because this is some great data which Google is giving us, and hats off where hats due. While I think they should have released it a lot earlier, hey, better late than never. So what I want to focus on is that there's really three major updates in regards to the reporting that we're going to be seeing very, very soon. One of these you should already have. Depending on when you watch this video, you may or may not have these other two data inputs. What I wanted to focus on is how you can actually use these reporting insights to improve the performance of your account. Because ultimately, that's why we run Google Ads, because we want to see more conversions and more sales for our own businesses or our clients' businesses. Right from the start, the big announcements comes around three areas. Number one, we're going to be getting channel level reporting, so we can see not only the spend, but the performance differences between search, shopping, display, Gmail, and video networks. We're going to get full visibility on search terms. Now, when I mean full visibility, I don't mean like full visibility of what we got back in 2015. What I mean is that the same level of search term reporting you see inside of your search and shopping campaigns is now coming to Performance Max. And then we're also going to be seeing the actual asset metrics for the different headlines, descriptions, videos, images that you have in your Performance Max ads. And for me, that is probably actually the biggest change and the best benefit that we can have for the performance of our accounts. So before we get into these three areas, I do want us to know, as a result of this, I actually have updated my Google Ads optimization checklist. So if you want to get access to the most updated version of my checklist, just follow that link in the description below and you can get this updated version of my checklist. All right, let's start with the first change, which is all about channel level reporting. As we know, with Performance Max, the spend goes across all of the different networks that Google has. So display, search, shopping, video, Gmail, and we just didn't really know what the spend was between those different networks. As I said, you could run scripts to get that data. You could kind of have a guess with some different reporting tools inside of Google Ads, but it was all kind of a bit of a mismatch of data. However, Google is now putting this inside of the Performance Max dashboard. Now, the way that you'll be able to access this is that if you go into the Insights and Reports section, you'll see a tab which is actually named Channel Performance. If you're watching this video and your account doesn't have that yet, don't be alarmed, because as I said, this is getting rolled out in stages and it just may not be available in your account yet. There's nothing you can do. Google will roll it out when it's ready. So really with this data, what it really comes down to is you can really see that, if you're getting money spent on the search network, what level of conversions or ROAS are you getting on the search network? Or if you're getting spend on the shopping network, what level of ROAS and conversion rates are you getting on those networks? And now let's really get to how this is going to help you to optimize your Google Ads account. And for me, it really comes down to you can really start to see your performance data versus some benchmark data. So let me give you an example. We know that for a shopping campaign that you should be seeing at least a conversion rate of 3%. We want this higher, obviously, and you should be seeing a click-through ratio of at least 0.9%. Obviously, we want it higher, at least above a 1%. And for a lead generation business, that you should be seeing in your search campaigns, conversion rates of 5% or more and a click-through ratio of above 8%. So by seeing this channel performance data, what you can actually start to see is that if you've got a low click-through ratio, you know that you need to work on your ad copy or your product titles. If your conversion rate is low, you need to start looking at your product offering, your product images, or your landing pages. So what it's allowing you to do is it's just giving you that little bit of extra data that you've got in a search and a shopping campaign to go, hey, look, our click-through ratio is low, so we know that we need to improve our ad copy. Our conversion rate is low. We know there must be a problem with our on-page messaging or our total offer. But what it also allows you to see is, let's just say, for example, you're an e-commerce brand and on your Performance Max campaign, 70% of your budget is being spent on the shopping network, but your search network spend is only at say maybe 20% with 10% going on video and display. But for that 20% of search, you're getting a much higher conversion rate. So you're getting really good performance, but Performance Max is just not spending on that search network. What you can then do is you can then go and create some extra search campaigns, but built off the search terms which are converting inside of your Performance Max campaign, so that you can then manually increase the spend on that network. So they're the top two ways, which is really going to allow you to better optimize your campaigns with this Performance Max data. All right, and as we talk about search terms, that brings us to the second main update. And that is that Google is going to be including or giving you the same level of search term data that you're getting inside of a search and a shopping campaign. And this really allows you to complete one of the most basic optimizations that has been around since Google Ads started, where you review the search terms. So search terms being the actual user search terms that triggered your search, to then build out your negative keywords list. And what you can also do with this data, if you see that there's some new emerging search keywords that you're not yet targeting, you may want to add them in as a new ad group, or add them in as a new collection of exact match keywords inside your search campaigns. And what that allows you to do is that if you know there's some search terms that are really starting to convert more highly and they're giving you really high intent, you can put them into a separate ad copy so that you can really nail down and get the best performing ad copy. That then frees up Performance Max to do what, in my opinion, it's designed to do, which is generate more conversions. So you're basically really letting your search campaigns or your shopping campaigns focus on that bottom of the funnel traffic and letting Performance Max to do what it does best in find more conversions. Once again, because you've got that data, you can then do that to a greater degree and really make sure you've got that relationship set right between your Performance Max and your search and your shopping campaigns. So the first change of reporting that's coming to your Performance Max campaign is all about that channel performance, seeing how the different channels are performing between search, shopping, display, and video. Then also you're getting that extra search term reporting data. So you're not just seeing it in search themes, which is what Google's been giving you to date. You're actually seeing that actual search data. And this now brings us to the third change, which I believe is the most important and the most significant, in that Google is going to give you the actual data, and this should be live in your account already, is they're actually going to give you the clicks, the click-through ratio, the conversion data, the conversion rate, ROAS, whatever data you want at the asset level. So you can see the performance of your different headlines, descriptions, images, and videos inside of your Performance Max campaign. And this will eventually also be rolled out to responsive search ads as well. What this really does mean is that, before Google would just give us this score of good, best, or low, but you didn't really know what was really driving the conversions. It was kind of like you're just trusting Google to give you that indication. Whereas now you can actually see the actual click data, click-through ratio, and conversion data at that asset level. And because this, in my opinion, is the most significant change, let me take you through to a screen share so I can show you where you can see that data and how you can actually optimize that data. And remember, as I said at the top of the video, this is now one of the newer actions, which is inside of my updated Google Ads optimization checklist, which you can get in the description below. All right, so where you want to go to see this data, you can see we're inside of a Performance Max campaign. We are in the asset groups. You want to go over to one of your asset groups, and if you go into your view details, we're going to do it on this one. So if you go through and click view details, what you'll see is you'll see down in through here, this data that is coming through. And if you don't get this actual data, what you can do is you can go to the column section and you can add in more data around, say, for example, your click-through ratio. Let's go to conversions. We want to see cost per conversion, conversion rate, conversion value cost. Click apply, and there is all that data which we didn't have before, which is amazing. So what you can also do in through here as well, let's just say you want to add in a filter, and we want to firstly go through and review our headlines. So you can see all of the headlines in here. We can also see whether we added these or whether these were automatically created. And what we can start going through and looking at is we can start to go through and have a look here at the different click-through ratios, conversion values. So essentially what you'd be looking at doing in through here is we've got 20 active at the moment. What I would start doing is we're going to start looking at where are we spending the most amount of money. And if we're happy with these click-through ratios in here and the conversion rates, we can keep them going. But what I would generally look at doing in through here is, looking at some of the ones which are giving us the highest level of click-through ratios, and then starting to build out some different ideas based upon that data of the highest click-through ratio and the highest conversion rate. Now, whichever way you want to go do this, you may want to take some of these suggestions, put them into a tool like ChatGPT. You say, can you give me another 3 or 4 variations of this, and really build out some different ideas. But as I said, what's really allowing you to do is to see what is actually happening, and you can go through. So let's just say we want to do this for the long headline. You can see that same level of data. You can also see it for your different images. So if we're going into our different square images, we can see what's being spent on the display network and what is performing and what isn't performing. So in from here, what you can very, very quickly do, we can go like, we need to add this one out because it's not getting any spend, or we need to test some other ones because it's just not performing. So that's the latest updates to the increased Performance Max reporting inside of your Google Ads dashboard. But more importantly, that's how you can use and optimize that data to increase the performance of your Performance Max campaigns. Remember, all of those actions are now updated and included in my updated Google Ads optimization checklist, which you can get in following the link in the description below. Now, you may be aware that this isn't the only change that's happened inside of Google Ads recently, and Google Ads has also released what it's calling AI Max. And if you want to know more about this change, go through and watch this video right here.